does. Peggy, injured workers can appeal those denials, but our investigation found most of the time reviewers agree people don't need the medical treatment they've requested. Now, critics say this proves the deck is stacked against injured workers, and in some cases it can lead to devastating consequences.
She was just such a humorous person.
Lori Mays was always up for a laugh. Just ask her mom.
She was so funny.
Joan Dismuke says her daughter wore her sense of humor.
I don't mean to offend you. That's just a bonus.
As a nurse for the Fresno County Health Department, Lori helped women with at-risk pregnancies. On a house call in 2003, she slipped on the stairs. She got surgery, but the pain in her back and legs wouldn't stop. The funny Lori slid into depression.
So the workers' comp system acknowledged the link between chronic pain and depression.
Yes.
And they were authorizing treatments for depression.
Yes.
When drugs stopped working in 2014, Lori received transcranial magnetic stimulation. According to her medical records, it seemed to be very effective. But when her doctor requested more treatment last September, it was denied.
It was just devastating.
Lori asked the state for an independent medical review, or IMR. But in February, the doctor reviewing her case decided to uphold the denial. The week Lori received the letter, her family was at the beach. Dismuke came home first.
There was a note on the front door saying, "Don't go in the backyard, call the police." I knew instantly what it meant.
A suicide note. Her family found these notes too. We treat our employees while injured worse than we treat our veterans. I'm worn out, drained, depleted, gone. She was 50, but she was Dismuke's little girl.
Having parents pass away doesn't prepare you for losing your child.
It's a reckless disregard for human life.
The IMR letter surprised Douglas Lowe, Lori's workers' comp attorney.
Do you believe the IMR decision contributed to Lori's decision?
Without question, it did.
Lori's case is extreme, but critics of the workers' comp system say the independent medical review rubber stamps denials of treatment injured workers say they need. We reviewed data provided by the state. From 2013 through 2015, injured workers contested nearly 600,000 treatment denials. Our analysis found reviewers upheld nearly 90% of the denials. Supporters of the system say this number proves the entire review process is working. Critics have a different take.
It's hard to believe that any system could be that one-sided.
In 2013, a new law changed the way workers' comp resolves disputes about medical care. Injured workers used to argue their cases before a judge. Now, independent reviewers decide if medical care is necessary based on guidelines that dictate which treatments work best. Some critics say those guidelines are too rigid.
Does the one-size-fits-all model work in every case?
Of course not. Certainly didn't work in this case.
A corporation called Maximus won the contract. The company declined an interview request.
There's no transparency in it.
We learned the Maximus reviewers are confidential. That means nameless, faceless doctors are making decisions about medical care for patients they've never seen. The outcomes are final for 1 year.
Is the independent medical review process working?
No.
Diane Worley serves as policy director for the California Applicants Attorneys Association. The group advocates for injured workers.
If the treatment the doctor's asking for isn't the right treatment, then the goal should be to find what is the right treatment.
But the system you're saying is not designed to do that currently.
That's correct.
Critics say that's because the focus of the new law is saving money. System costs are down $800 million each year. But Worley says it's gone too far.
There needs to be a recognition how much suffering there is.
Research from the insurance industry shows even after IMR, ultimately 96% of all medical services are approved. In this July report, the state writes independent medical professionals apply the appropriate evidence-based medical standards. We asked the state for an interview, but our request was declined.
What does that say to you?
They don't want to answer your questions.
She was a beautiful person.
Joan Dismuke continues to mourn the loss of her daughter, but she's speaking up to improve workers' comp.
Most of it's just for the voice that Lori no longer has.
She says the system designed to help injured workers recover failed her daughter when she needed it most.
They provided a lot of care for Lori. She just needed more.
Now, the Department of Industrial Relations says improvements are ongoing and reviewers continue to make treatment decisions based on guidelines. The state says encouraging treatment that's proven to work and discouraging treatment that's ineffective means better care and fewer wasted resources.